I'm not really crazy about how the particles die off so quickly when they reach the end of their life. They just sort of pop out, and that's going to be visually disturbing when we try to shade with volume particles or using the particle renderer. To fix this, I'm going to modify the existing particle color. First of all, I'm going to go back into my particle tasks, and I'm going to pull in a setter node that allows me to set or modify the existing particle color. So our particle color is initialized up here as a yellow color. So I'm actually going to change that in my ice tree. This is why I'm plugging it into the ice tree. I want the color to be evaluated every frame of the simulation, not only at the emission point. So I need to actually add into a new port. So port 3 will work here. It doesn't really matter if I set the color before or after the forces. So if I hit play, the particles just assume the color that I'm setting in the ice tree. And I want to be able to control their alpha as well. You'll notice I can control their alpha, but one of the problems is setting all of the particles alpha at the same time. And what I'm going to actually end up using is the particle's age, or the particle age percentage, to drive the alpha. Again, remember that alpha is running from 0 to 1. So if an age runs from 0 to 100, we can ramp that in along the alpha channel as well. So get a nice smooth fade out at the end of their life. So to do this, I need to get the particle's color. So I'll use the getters, and I'll get particle color, bring it into the graph. And from here I need to split the color into its 4 channels, RGBA. So I'll use a color to RGB converter. There it is right there. And then I'll use RGB to color, so I can reconnect it. So I'm essentially just taking the red, green, and blue channels from the existing color, but instead of using the provided alpha, I'm going to get the particle's age percentage and use that to drive the alpha. So if I look up age, and I get the particle age percentage, I'll use that to drive alpha, and convert that back to my color. So now, you'll notice we actually get a fade out the wrong way. So what we need to do is actually rescale this node here. So if we're going to go from 0 to 100, we're going to convert that into a negative range. So we're going to go from actually totally opaque, 1, to totally transparent, a value of 0. So to do that, we're going to go in and use a rescale node found under the basic math category in the tools section. And I'll use the age percentage, rescale the result out into the alpha, and I'll use the start of 0 and 1, and I'll have a target start and end of 0. So basically I'm just inverting the values. So the particles are born opaque, and then they fade out. So that's going to look a lot better when we try and blend the effect into the render tree. So I'm going to just do a quick comment on this branch. I'll pull in a group comment. And sets particle alpha to use an inverted age percentage. Okay, I think we're good there. So let's continue.